Everyone, and welcome to a special free agency review of the league. We thought there were so many ads today, so many trades going on in the offseason. I love seeing everybody back. Kyle, back doing it again, huge player in the offseason. Jake, huge player in the offseason. I'm just noting all these because I'm so excited about the activity to start right now. Now, Jake can't really do much else, because he only has $5 in free agency money. But we'll get into that in a minute. As always, I'm your commissioner, 3-time in a row, continued reigning champion. I cannot lose. It's incredible. It's incredible. Joel,
you will lose.
Joel, welcome. It's a pleasure. Another season. I feel like this is kind of the first video. Because we do the rookie draft, and everything's kind of just in the messenger. But, anything from the rookie draft that stuck out to you off the top of your head? I know you and I talked about it extensively.
Oh, man. This was not the question I thought you were going to ask me. Fuck. Damn it, Brandon. All I was thinking about was the waiver wire. I didn't think about the fucking draft.
That's totally fine. There wasn't anything that was crazy. I thought a couple players fell below. I thought it interesting that a few owners went above the cap to draft their rookies. I think that was Phil, Jake, and Steven, if I remember those. And Kyle traded 2 of his draft picks before the draft even concluded. So Cody did as well. But no, it was just something. I just didn't think if there was anything that really stuck in your head other than, what I've said to this point.
Yeah, I mean, I think you and I had differing takes on Steven taking Edie. I had forgotten that he went over the cap for that, but I do think that's going to be an interesting player for him. And you felt he should have gone a different way, maybe with a Ron Holland type player. Weirdly, somehow ended up in my hand, so I thought that was cool. Ricochet going as the number 1 pick. Actually didn't see that coming. I don't think either of us saw it coming, but I don't hate it.
No.
He was, what, $5?
Well, a lot of, what I've heard on this draft just in general is, there's far more groupings. There's no clear, number 1, 2. It's, 1 through 5 is, tier A, 5 through 10 is tier B, and stuff like that the whole way down. But, yeah, nothing, like I said, it was nothing that really stuck out with me. Kyle went heavy on this draft. He went so heavy to get picks in this draft. And he's already moved some assets. I'm not critiquing him. I just found it interesting that Kyle was tried to sell his soul on draft day to Doug for a next year pick. Save that pick, bro. Don't. You know what I mean? I would much rather be in the first round next year. I'm not personally, but I would much rather be in the first round next year than I would have been this year.
I thought it was interesting, though, that we now have a more clear direction with Kyle's team. It's rounding more into a younger assets team. Yeah,
and he revamped his team. And Jake also, we're going to joke a lot this season about the $5. The day he spends $1, I know we are all going to be pumped. But he had to completely redo this team from base, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that, him having to take a year where it's well, I spent a lot of money paying down a lot of players, acquiring a lot of good players. His team can be good. I just don't know that based on the $5 of free agency, if he comes up against a cycling juggernaut like me, that he's going to have a shot, which is unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean, I think he'll have a lot of regular season wins. And the thing is he's even getting those assets for this year, it helps him in the long term, next year. So he's going to be a better team next year when he has that free agency money. So
absolutely,
it'll be tough. It'll be tough with only $5, but
It'll be tough.
He's gonna be all right.
I think that, and this will be the last thing, then we'll get into the free agency, just generally on the teams. This has been one of my most favorite off seasons in a while because you just blew up your team. You just blew it up, and you were just like, you know what? I'm trying to get this 10-year dynasty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kyle also kind of blew up his team. Jake kind of blew up his team, but it was more like rebuilding. There's just so many different teams in so many different phases. It feels like a real NBA situation where you can talk about it. You've got, me, the defending champ, who just keeps adding old veterans, for minimums or whatever it is. But it really, when I look around the league, it feels like that. You've got Cody, who's the up-and-comer right now, as a contender. You've got Phil, who basically is returning most of his whole team. He needs to figure out that cap situation. He can't lose $75 to start the year over the cap. He just can't. He's got to do something. I hope he watches this video. Please do something, Phil. Please do something.
So... just remind me, so he's $75 over the cap? Is that what you're saying?
No. He can't lose $75 in free agency money. He's only like $4 or $5 over the cap, I think. It's not a lot. It's very doable. But you don't want to sacrifice 75 free agent dollars for $3 to $4 over the cap. Especially with how important the Wire was last year in the championship against me.
For sure.
Because I think he's definitely in contention again this year if he wants to go at it. I like his team still. But we'll get to it. We're working back into this, Joel. We're feeling it out. Let's start with free agency today. I'd just like to preface it by saying that $114 total was spent today on the Wire. And so I'm going to keep that number, and I'm going to track it now. 114 free agency dollars was spent on the first day of free agency.
I feel like we're going to have a name for this down the line. I'm not sure if it's going to be the Keldon Johnson effect.
Wow, that's an interesting take that you have as you throw that out there. Let's start at the top, though. There were two $15 players. If we want to have these kind of things, we can memorialize them in the video, and then at the end of the year, we can go back and bring it up. Okay, so I want to bring up a point at CJ's wedding. It was the day before his wedding. He was in the car with us, and he mentioned Malcolm Brogdon. He mentioned him to us. And so you and I had a conversation later that night. And it's going to be a little bit behind baseball here. Inside baseball, as they say. You and I had a conversation of, we completely forgot that Brogdon was on the Wire. Okay? And so when I was adding him, I was like, okay, maybe $6 gets it done. He might play a lot in Washington. It could be really, really cool. And do you know what I believe happened? I believe that during the time that he told us about Brogdon, there was about, 6 to 7 days. I think that he incrementally increased his bid like $1 per day. I think he was at the 6 to 7 amount. And then he's like, oh shit, I told Brandon and Joel about him. Now, and then every day, and CJ, you have to let me know if I'm accurate on this one, because every day I think he raised that $1 the whole way up to 15. Tell me that doesn't sound logical.
It does seem kind of logical. The math adds up. I mean, here's what I'll say. If we're starting with Brogdon, I don't think... If Brogdon plays, $15 is a fair value for him. And
absolutely.
$85 is still a lot of free agency money to work with for CJ. So it could work out for him, and he might have been the best player on the wire.
Correct. I mean, I agree with it 100%. It could very easily have been worth it. And again, this is one of those things that you talk about. How much of the free agency money is worth it? Like, and we'll get to it here in a little bit. We'll get to my ads, right? And we'll talk about what they meant to me, specifically to me, and how my team's built. But let's talk about that other $15 ad. Neiman coming in off the top ropes for Klay Thompson. He believes that there's at least 25% usage coming from Klay Thompson this year with Lively, with Gafford, with, I don't know, Luka, with, I don't know, Kyrie.
You're using Gafford in the
correct. Yes,
get the fuck out of here. Luka and Kyrie are gonna have the ball all the time, but Klay Thompson is gonna be open for a lot of shots. It's not a bad ad. It's just way too much.
15 seems like a lot. I think that once we hit the cap raise next year, just like it was with Jake this year to get under the cap, I think Klay's going to be a victim of being dropped to the wire next year to get under the cap. It'll be interesting if he is.
I wish we could know who was the second highest bid for Klay Thompson.
We can.
We can?
We 100% can.
Tell me who it was.
Well, hold on. I have to... Everybody can do this. Like, y'all fucking nuts. You can go right in on your phone and find it. I'm not gonna, like, show everyone, but I definitely check it out from time to time. Let's see. I think I might have been the second highest for Klay, and I was at 6.
Wow.
Yeah, let me see. Brogdon.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking through everything, and actually,
at the very top, if you're looking through it, all you got to do is turn off executed only. Oh no, here we go. Adam, 13 for Klay. So Neiman had to go that high. Wow. Yeah, because you got Matt who was at 7. Okay. Wow, that's a nice fun little thing that we played there. You're welcome. I told everybody now how to do it. You're welcome.
Wow.
What a commissioner.
Wow.
What a guy. Because every day, you know what's gonna, you know what's gonna happen? People are gonna start seeing that I put in like 25 ads all the time, bro. Just all the time.
They're gonna see who the real maniacs are.
Right, exactly. That's why I've always kind of like shied away. Like, I don't want them knowing I said it today in the messenger that I put in 25 ads for today. But
I put in, I think it was either 13 or 15.
Right. Well, does it help that I had 5 roster spots that I had to fill? Like, 5 per spot, 5 options. You know, you don't want to be left out in the dust or anything, but 25 might have been too much. 20, I mean, I could have probably cut the bottom. So the next most expensive player was for $12, and I don't know why I closed out of it.
Was that Io? No.
No, Io was 9.
That was KJ.
KJ, correct. We are down to KJ. Now, you and I were talking. Are we sure KJ starts?
I am certainly not sure about that.
Because if we're not sure, KJ for bench $12 for a bench player is tough.
It is kind of tough. We could be wrong. And he is kind of a, kind of a heat check player. So if he were like a really good bench scorer, he might be worth it, question mark.
I don't know. I mean, even on his best day, do you think he has the capability to be a 6th man of the year? He's not a Jordan Clarkson. I'm trying to
I'm trying to play it through the player's eyes here.
Oh, okay. You're trying to be nice.
Yeah, I'm trying to play it through the player's eyes here. I'm trying to see what the fuck happened.
Well, Kyle's team's not really going anywhere anyway. I know what he did here. He added it because him and you in the consolation bracket are getting it on this year for flag. You two are going to have a rumble, bro. And it is going to be
right.
electric. That's what he's betting on right now. That's why it was $12.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
KJ ain't going to get it done, son.
All right. Well, now let's talk about the next two most expensive players. The reason why everybody's really here to talk, the Champs ads. Okay. Let me just say this, Joel Gibson. I vaguely led on to you what I was going to be bidding for the top two players. And I want you to tell the people that I adjusted Dre down $1 and still got him. It might only be $1, but this is the kind of touch and feel you need to be champion, baby. You need all the smoke. I've got 3 straight championships, Joel. You can sit there and laugh all you want. I can say whatever I want. I can say that you need to wake up on the left side of the bed every morning to get this championship. You don't know. You don't know for 3 years. You don't know. It could be that.
Listen, you have your day. You have your day right now, Brandon.
Mm-hmm.
You enjoy it while you can.
I'm gonna.
I will confirm that you dropped your price down on Draymond. I will also confirm that you skipped over the IO bid at $9. That was the next highest bid.
Oh, son of a bitch. You wanted to talk about that one. Okay, wait a minute.
That's okay. We can come back to it. I just want to make sure I gave you shit.
Okay.
We're still talking about you.
No.
These were fantastic ads by you. Huge ads. And I hate to confirm it, but you placed your bids perfectly. Those two are in play. Huge dividend for you. Malcolm Brogdon is probably a bigger injury risk than either of them as well.
Yeah, and also I had Conley last year, and I don't know if you remember. Cody remembers for sure Mike Conley and what he did for me last year. So I am excited to get him back most of all. I do know that my team is going to miss games this year. I might take more losses this year in the regular season than I do, than I have in the past. But let me tell you, the depth of this team that I've put together is very, very strong. Very strong. I've got 2 top 50 players on my IR. I told Joel I might not even play them the first 5 weeks of the season. I am going to keep this 20-man roster, and Joel knows this kind of play because he's done it in the past. Credit to him. That's really it. I also added Strus. I also added, we'll just get my team out of the way so we don't have to talk about me anymore.
Let's do it.
I added Strus. I added Derrick Jones Jr. I'm the only one on this planet that still believes in Derrick Jones Jr., and it's going to work out.
I also love both those ads. You might have overpaid on Strus, maybe.
But I wanted him. The problem is I'm still $5 under the cap, and I wanted him on my team because I told you specifically the targets that I was going after, the stats.
Yeah. I think he was a top 100 player last year. So that's fits your team.
Right. And
that
then
fits your needs.
Exactly. And then the last one, a little Josh Green, a little youth. Wait, did he just add a youthful player? Yes, we're also rebuilding here. We're winning championships and rebuilding out here.
I mean, Josh Green could be replaced on that team.
Shut up.
In a heartbeat.
Shut up.
Draft pick.
Shut up. Him and LaMelo are going to be the best backcourt in the whole league. Him and LaMelo. They're the next Lillard and McCollum. They're the next Jordan and Pippen, maybe. I don't know. You could say anything you wanted. Doug agrees. Doug agrees. All right, so now let's get back to Desumnu for $9.
Bench player.
Bench player. Bench player standing behind Kobe White and Giddey. Boy, I am.
Levine.
And Levine. Oh my gosh, I didn't even think about. It's so bad. And Matt and I even talked about him a few weeks back, and I thought that's why Matt ended up dropping him, was because I had mentioned, like, you could probably add him back off the wire. I guess not.
I guess not. I mean, there's even Lonzo, maybe.
Right, Matt has Lonzo too, so I made that whole point. I was like, you're literally betting against yourself having both of them. Pick one.
Yeah, so I didn't love that ad at almost double digits. I think he's maybe the most likely player to get dropped that got added today.
Oh man, it's dang close. I liked the next one. We've bullied him enough. The next one I think is $6. Sadiq Bey by Adam. I didn't hate that. If you're gonna roll the dice, right? Like, everybody was so pumped up on him when he was on Atlanta, and now he's going to Washington. We're like, who's playing there?
What's his name?
Kuzma's still there,
Kuzma
and the rookie,
and then,
right, Sarr.
Yeah,
exactly. But between those two, there's what, 96 available minutes, right? It's 48 total minutes a game, so 96 on those two positions. If the three of them are rotating it, or if they go small and let Kuzma play the center, which they did last year, in case you weren't watching that horrible small ball attempt in Washington, they are not afraid to put Kuzma in the center.
But they have Jonas now.
Yeah, but what you think he's getting 28 minutes? How many minutes do you think he's getting?
I mean, at least 25.
Okay, and who's getting the other 23 minutes at center?
Well, do you think they're going to play Sarr at all at center?
That would be interesting. Well, that's what I'm saying. The three of them, Bey, Sarr, and Kuzma, if you're including center minutes into that, you're talking 100+ minutes between these three gentlemen. For sure.
Okay. I don't hate it.
It's interesting.
Love it.
It's interesting. 6 is too much, but it's interesting. I didn't hate it.
Yeah. I would have bid $2 if I had been talked into it. But I'm still not talked into it, to be clear.
Okay, just wanted to be sure. And now we get to talk about your team, Joel Gibson. The perfect insurance ad, getting Nembhard for $5. I really thought that we were going to get more action from people in Nembhard, especially towards the end of the year last year. I know he's unproven. He went off in the playoffs because Halliburton wasn't there. But if you believe, like maybe I believe, that Halliburton taking 2 ankle injuries and a knee injury last year and still trying to play to 65 games to be eligible, that maybe had worn on him a little bit why he didn't play in the Olympics, even though he was on the team. Also, speak out for Kawhi. You couldn't just keep him on the roster. You put Halliburton at the end of the bench. The man didn't even play. Give Kawhi a gold medal. What are we doing?
I mean, we're building for the future. Halliburton is our future point guard.
100% for sure. Do you think Kawhi is going to be at the next Olympics? No. Do you think Halliburton's going to be at the next Olympics? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's my argument right there. I mean, he made a joke. He did like an Instagram post or whatever. He literally said, it's like when you do a group project and you don't do anything, but you still get an A. Like, bro, what? That's embarrassing. Although I would have rather had Halliburton's performance at the end of the bench than Jason Tatum airballing all those shots.
I knew you were gonna
Yes,
say
let's do it. Of course I was going to say it.
If you're not gonna shit on my favorite player on my team, you're gonna shit on my favorite player on my other team.
You're
God damn it.
absolutely right. And if we're going to talk about your team, you're in trouble the next 2 to 3 years. Because there's just no chance you're beating me under any circumstance. So I am going to carry around like this. I am going to peacock all over you so hard for the next 3 years. It's going to be ridiculous.
Listen, I am hoping to spend no more free agency money this regular season. I want to lose games. I am in it to lose it, baby. We want to be in the losers bracket. We want to get there, and we're going to kick Kyle's ass. It's going to be amazing.
This might be literally the most hyped consolation bracket of all time. I want a top 5 or 6 team to try to tank just to get it. Let's fucking get people in there, bro. Let's get...
Hey, a top 5 or 6 team did tank for this. That's exactly what happened, Brandon. That's who I am, or who I was. And look what's going to happen. You said you wanted it. You didn't realize it was already in motion.
No, I meant this year a top 5 or 6 team. Gonna be in the bottom.
I mean...
For $5, there were a couple other players. You added Clowney as well, which you are hot to trot on this fella. You are so excited, and it goes completely against Claxton, 100%. So you're basically saying every time you like promote him, you're just like, hey Cody, fuck you, okay?
All right, I'm not saying fuck Cody, but I am betting on Clowney. He was my number 1 target, and I don't know. I think he can play power forward. If you watch that video, he was stroking threes. I think he can play next to Claxton, and I think he's better than Claxton. I think Claxton showed some
Fuck
holes in
you,
his
Cody.
game.
Fuck you, Cody.
And I love you, Cody, but maybe fuck you a little bit, Cody. Here comes the Clowney show. I also just can't quit Patrick Williams.
I was just going to get into that as your next one at $5. You were $5 happy today.
Yep. Listen, I'm hoping that these are my bids for the regular season. We haven't even started the regular season. I had to make today count. If Patrick Williams is 15, 16 points a game at the end of this year, and he's only 22 years old, and he's still getting a steal and a block per game, 5 rebounds, maybe he has 3 or 4 assists, all of a sudden he gets really interesting because he could be 18, 19, 20 points.
He is the biggest show-me player in the entire league. He's been given 30 minutes a night on the regular and has not produced a damn thing. Not anything. I love the hype. I love the hype, and I love your commitment to your players. Yikes.
Well, you know why? It's funny that you say that.
Okay.
I think Patrick Williams just needed a real playmaker, and I just happened to have grabbed his playmaker in a trade this offseason. And I think it's going to be the difference for Patrick Williams.
Yikes.
That and getting DeRozan the fuck out of Chicago.
Okay, well, also think about this and that Giddey trade, right?
Mm-hmm.
At one point, Giddey and a pick was traded for Ant, okay? I will go back and say that Giddey has the opportunity to prove that Jake wasn't a crazy person in trading Giddey and a pick for Ant. If he has an incredible season, then we can all go, and that's what I love about fantasy basketball all the time. You just don't know with these trades and stuff. So, we can all be like, oh, based on name value, based on ranking value, whatever. But at the end of the day, tomorrow a trade could happen and redo everything. So I just wanted to point that out because we gave Jake a lot of shit about it. And if Giddey goes out and has the kind of season that I think he can with Chicago, I think that Jake is going to feel a lot better about it, we'll say.
Yeah.
Because it did bring him Zion and Ingram and all of that for Ant. And so if you're saying, that it was like Zion, Ingram for Ant, then you're like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. These that's what's interesting about Dynasty. Like, if you make a mistake, it can set you back, or it can really, if you make the right trade, it can push you in the right direction by, a year or two. It's really, these trades kind of live on, which is fun.
I know, I do like that, and you can track them and stuff like that. All right, so let's finish this up here. We don't have too many left. We have 2 ads from Kyle, and that's Jonathan Isaac and
$5.
Kevin Porter Jr. at $3.
Yikes.
He is going for it, okay? Apparently Chris Dunn doesn't exist. And also, I don't know, James Harden doesn't exist.
Well, yeah. I wasn't sure about the Kevin Porter ad, I'll be honest. I thought at $1 maybe, but I didn't see it at $3. But, Kyle's taking shots. There was what did Kevin Porter put up against the Bucks that one game? Like, was it 50?
Right, but then he went out and beat his woman. I don't know.
And also, not only did he beat his woman, but then he went and didn't play in the league for a while. So now here we are, a couple years later.
It could work out. We're gonna see. We are attached, and then also his other ad, Jonathan Isaac. Let's hope that, all of the ligaments in his legs are okay forevermore.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this. Did you have Matikovic, I can't pronounce his name, Matikovic, the New Orleans guy? I thought you had drafted him.
No, I drafted Messi. I don't believe in him whatsoever. Kyle was basically taking the opposite stance of me. I think that Messi...
Oh, I'm not familiar with both of them. I just knew there was one young New Orleans center.
No, there's 2. There's 2, and nobody knows which way it's going to go. I think Messi's better. So
I see.
So we're going to see how that goes. And then, like I said, the Isaac thing. And then I think the only other one that we have to talk about is Matt adding, oh my gosh, a shooter, Hardaway, for $3 and dropping Josh Richardson. I mean, that hurts me as a Miami fan. Josh Richardson's back in the game, if you're asking me.
I mean, he could be back in your game if you're looking.
Could you imagine if I had Josh Richardson and Derrick Jones Jr. on my team at the same time? You guys don't get it. You don't understand the love. Heat culture, baby. Heat culture.
Well, there's not a lot of ads left to talk about. I do just want to give one little shout out to Dyson Daniels. We didn't talk about him. I think he's going to be the starting 2. I think Bogdanovic is a bench player. They want to play him like 20 to 25 minutes, preserve that knee.
Oh my gosh, that is a wild take.
Hey, I think he's going to be a starting 2.
That man was incredible for Serbia in the Olympics.
Let me cook, Brandon.
Okay. All right.
All right, I think he's going to be a starting 2. And if you look at the starting 2 guard stats from last season, DeJounte Murray.
Are you directly connected?
A player that Dyson is projected to be similar as, I think there's reason
by
for
who?
optimism.
What are you talking about, bro? What are you talking about? Go cook. Finish your thought. Keep cooking, big fella. Chef Gibson on the block. Like, what the
I knew this would make you so mad. But, I think if he has just a little, poor man's Murray in him this season, then holy shit, what an ad by me. I also have Kobe Buffkin to kind of balance it out. So, God forbid anything ever happened to Trae Young. I am ready, baby. Whew. Just had to get that take off my chest.
Okay, thank God, because that was wild, bro. That was fucking wild. The 2 guard stats for you're just taking positions. You know what? The center stats for Denver last year were fantastic.
Listen, it just might work.
Okay, all right. Well, that's it. I actually really enjoyed this video. It went a little longer than we thought it was going to go, but man, I enjoyed this video. I'm glad.
Oh, man.
We are close. We're only like 2 months away, 60 days, right? And so there's still going to be some more trading. We're all cooking. We're all feeling each other out. Oh, last thing, Joel. Contenders. I want your top 4 right now. Or do you want me to go first? I'll go first.
Hold on. Without looking deep at the rosters, so obviously the reigning champ at number 1.
Woo! 4 in a row.
We have
4 in a row.
This is not planned, so I'm gonna say Cody for sure is in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Phil had a top 3 finish last year, so we're gonna put him there. And then the number 4 spot is where it gets kind of interesting.
While you're thinking about it, I'm gonna buy you some time here.
Okay.
Those are also my top 3. Literally, I think I even might have texted Cody that today. Then it gets to number 4, and I think there's a few different ones that could be in there, and a lot of it just depends on how the season goes.
Yes, for sure. So I'm looking potentially at Doug as an option. He's probably where I'm leaning.
Jalen Johnson is so sexy. Doug, trade him to me.
Yeah, I'm going to go Doug. I'm going to say, fuck Matthew. And, yeah, I'm going to definitely say, let's go Doug.
Yeah, when I thought about this, Doug naturally, because I think that was the Final Four for last year, right? Because Doug beat you last year.
Yes, he did.
He finished the story, essentially.
Yeah, Denny Avila or whatever got on the fucking hottest streak of his life.
Correct, yeah. Man, you're not going to like this because I keep going back to it. If CJ is healthy, he's a top 4 team.
I know. This is why I didn't go with CJ. He made an interesting move today with DeAndre Ayton.
Yes.
Where he's got both the Portland centers, so whatever happens, he's going to be okay there, I guess.
Yep. And it's just one of those things that those two came to mind. Also, I think Adams made some good strides this offseason. I think that Jake has also made some strides. If he ended up being 5'6", it wouldn't blow me away. You have Steven, who always seems to be in the mix somehow. Man, it's just really tough. I'm going to go with Doug, but CJ is like 4B. You know what I mean? It sucks that I have to pick 4, but I just don't know how many games Kawhi's going to play this year. I don't know what they're going to do. If Curry or Durant go down, it's a problem. If one of those players go down, I think Harden's going to be fantastic this year. But if one of his big players go down, I don't think that he has the depth. Where Doug did it last year without LaMelo Ball at all. And I think Jalen Johnson he might even be most improved player this year. Look out, I'm putting that right out there right now. He was fantastic last year. And I'm telling you, I think the sky is the limit for that fella.
I feel the same way about Dyson Daniels, dude.
I believe you. Anything else, Joel Gibson?
Just for CJ, Jaden Ivey is a swing piece. It's make or break time for this guy, and if he's really good this year, it helps CJ in a huge way. If he is waiver fodder, it's gonna be a big bummer. It's gonna be a big bummer.
I hope you didn't invest in that by getting Cade Cunningham from somebody. We didn't even talk about the big trades. We got to do a whole show on just trades in general. Because
it's a whole different league since last offseason. Even the champs team looks different.
Yeah, even my team. I've got LeBron now. What the fuck?
Yeah. What the fuck happened? You have LeBron and you have Austin Reeves.
Right. I don't know. I have 2 Lakers. I have 3 Timberwolves actively on my team right now. I don't know. I don't know what's going on over at the champs camp.
This is by far the most fun offseason. And I would say a big part of it is Kyle back in, baby.
I agree. And Jake being back in. It's honestly, it has been one of the most fun off seasons. And I think the season is also going to be interesting. But it also adds like 2 parts to our season. It literally does. It's teams that are trying to like accomplish what they're trying to accomplish in the off season, and then the season gets here to actually perform and see if that's how it goes. Like nobody knows, and it's a year-long thing that we have like put together. I love it so much.
It's a dynasty, brother.
It's a dynasty. All right. Well, we'll probably do a video beforehand. Well, we'll definitely do it before the first week of the matchup. But maybe we'll do a September video of some sort. Try to get everybody ramped up and ready to go.
Yeah, maybe we'll have some sort of, I don't know, just league message or something.